Okay, let's unpack this. If you are serious about your body composition, if you're chasing that performance edge, or, even if you're just trying to shed some weight, I know you're already doing the work. You're weighing the chicken, you're measuring the oats, you're agonizing over white rice versus sweet potatoes. We spend so much mental energy on every single calorie on our plate.
We really do.
Yeah.
But according to this deep analysis we've pulled from SunDried, you're probably missing a massive silent passenger in your routine.
And that would be
The calories we drink. There are these sources of energy that go almost completely unnoticed, but the data shows they have this hugely disproportionate long-term impact on your physique and your metabolic health.
That's the absolute core of our deep dive today. We are tackling what the source material calls the metabolic invisibility of liquid energy. So our mission is to break down the science, to show you exactly why your brain literally fails to register these calories, and why targeting what you drink first isn't just a good idea, it's probably the single most strategic starting point for fast-tracking fat loss.
Exactly. We're translating the science of, satiety failure and this idea of high glycemic velocity so that you, the learner, can stop relying on just willpower and start using your own biology to your advantage.
Let's start right at the root of the problem then, the biology of invisibility. Why is this incredibly sophisticated machine, the human body, so bad at accounting for liquid energy?
It really all comes down to an evolutionary mismatch. If you think about it, across almost all of human history, if we wanted energy, if we wanted calories, we had to chew it.
Right. Food for fuel, water for hydration. Simple.
That's it. So our satiety systems, all those sophisticated checks and balances that tell us when to stop eating, they were all designed for that world, a world where energy intake required actual physical work.
Okay, so walk us through that. When we eat solid food, what's the body's checklist? What are the signals it's looking for?
It's a very detailed process. First, just the physical act of chewing kicks off this signaling cascade to the brain. Then, as the food fills your stomach, you've got mechanical sensors that detect the physical stretching of the stomach walls. That volume signals fullness.
And that's the physical part.
Right. And then, maybe most importantly, because solid food takes time to digest, that slow breakdown in your gut releases these key stop-eating hormones.
Those are the chemical signals, right? Things like GLP-1.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When your gut senses those nutrients coming in over a period of time, it releases these powerful hormones that travel straight to your brain, and they essentially say, okay, job's done. Stop consuming.
But liquids they bypass that whole system.
Almost entirely. That's why we're calling them the ultimate stealth calories. Liquids have what's called a rapid gastric emptying rate.
Meaning they just fly through.
They zip right through the stomach in just a few minutes. So there's very little sustained stretching of the stomach walls. And because that energy is delivered so quickly, the hormonal response is it's significantly muted compared to the exact same number of calories from, say, a piece of steak or an apple.
So the brain basically gets ghosted. It receives the energy load, but none of the I'm full warnings.
That is the perfect way to put it. And this leads to the most critical concept in the whole analysis. Incomplete energy compensation. So if you eat 200 calories of solid food, your brain factors that in. You will naturally, even subconsciously, eat fewer calories at your next meal to kind of balance things out.
But not with liquid calories.
No. If you drink 200 calories of juice, the brain just doesn't register that energy load. It fails to compensate. So those liquid calories are purely additive.
On top of everything else.
Completely. And the data from SunDried on the long-term cost of this is it's staggering. A daily surplus of just 150 liquid calories.
Which is less than a can of soda.
Yeah, way less. That small amount can compound over a year to result in about 15 pounds weight gain. It's this slow, silent error that just accumulates massively over time.
That puts the focus on the calorie count. But here's where it gets really interesting for me, because it's not just the count, it's the speed of delivery. Let's talk about glycemic velocity. Why do liquids cause this kind of biological panic?
The speed is the real metabolic stressor here. See, when you eat sugar that's packaged in solid food, like in a piece of fruit, it's all contained within this structural matrix of fiber and protein.
And that matrix acts like a brake.
A crucial brake in the digestive system, yeah.
I love the analogy the research used for this. Think of your metabolism like a fireplace, right? If you put a heavy log of solid food on it, you get a slow, steady burn for hours. Sustained energy.
That's the ideal state.
Yeah.
But when you drink liquid sugar, like a sweetened iced tea or a soda, it has no physical matrix. The energy is dissolved, it's instantly available.
Well, it's like throwing a cup of petrol on the fire.
Exactly. You get a massive, instantaneous flash, a rush that the system just wasn't designed to handle.
And what does that rush do?
Well, that rapid influx of sugar, that high glycemic velocity, it causes this massive sudden surge of insulin. And sure, insulin's job is to move that sugar out of the blood, but high insulin is also the lock and key for your fat cells.
So it sends a signal.
An immediate, overwhelming signal to your entire body.
Which is what?
It's the command to stop burning stored body fat right now and to prioritize storing all this incoming energy. The fat-burning engine is switched off instantly, and it stays off while your body deals with this sudden blood sugar crisis.
So the speed alone is sabotaging your goals, even before you count the calories.
Absolutely. And we haven't even touched on fructose yet. Many of these common sweeteners, especially things like high fructose corn syrup, they're not pure glucose. So what happens when the system gets hit by what the sources call a fructose tsunami?
What is the difference there?
It's a huge distinction. Glucose can be used by pretty much every cell in your body, your muscles, your brain. It gets distributed widely. Fructose, on the other hand, has a different chemical structure, and it can only be metabolized efficiently in one place.
The liver.
The liver. So if you chug a 20-ounce sugary drink, your liver is suddenly just inundated with this high-velocity, high-concentration load of fructose. It gets completely overwhelmed. It can't handle the traffic.
So what does it do?
Since the fructose can't be immediately used by your muscles, the liver has no choice but to start a process called de novo lipogenesis.
In plain English.
It means making new fat. The liver is literally forced to convert that excess energy directly into fat molecules. First, it stores it as liver fat, which is metabolically disastrous.
And then
It packages it up and ships it out as visceral fat, the dangerous fat that's stored around your internal organs.
wow, that is a sobering thought. So we have this perfect storm. The brain doesn't see the calories, the speed triggers fat storage through insulin, and the fructose can actually create new fat in the liver. Okay, let's wade into what you called the non-alcoholic minefield, because the danger isn't always obvious, is it?
Not at all. We all know sodas are offenders, but the analysis from Sun-Dried showed these surprising global differences. They called it the Fanta Gap.
The Fanta Gap.
Yeah. In markets like the U.S., a large bottle of Fanta Orange can have a staggering 73 grams of sugar. But in the U.K., because of their sugar tax, brands were pushed to reformulate. The UK version is down to about 22.5 grams.
Which shows it can be done.
It shows the problem is solvable, but the core fact is a standard 330 milliliter can of cola, globally, still has somewhere between 35 and 39 grams of sugar. That's nearly 10 teaspoons you're drinking in under a minute.
But the real trap, I think, is the health halo around juices and smoothies. We feel like we're making a better choice.
This is where we so often self-sabotage. We assume juice is healthy because fruit is healthy, but Sun-Dried's research really emphasizes that nature intended us to eat the fruit, not drink it.
Right. Explain the fiber difference again.
When you eat a whole orange, all that sugar is trapped inside its fibrous matrix. That fiber is the brake we talked about. It slows everything down, it reduces the insulin spike, and it makes you feel full.
But juicing just throws that away.
It discards the fiber. And an 8-ounce glass of juice isn't one orange. It's the sugar from about 3 to 4 oranges. So 21, maybe 24 grams of sugar that you can drink in a few seconds.
You'd never eat 4 oranges in 30 seconds.
Never. But we'll happily chug the equivalent sugar load from juice, totally bypassing all of our body's natural safeguards.
And commercial smoothies can be even worse.
Oh, much worse. They're often based on juice concentrates, other hidden ingredients. It is not uncommon for a commercial bottle to have upwards of 50 grams of sugar. That's more than 2 cans of cola.
So if metabolic health is the goal, it has to be whole fruit.
You need the fiber to protect you.
Let's move on to the coffee shop dessert economy. Because coffee itself, a near-zero-calorie performance booster, has been turned into something else entirely.
It's been weaponized. We've taken this perfect natural tool and turned it into this high-calorie delivery vehicle. Just look at the latte trap. You start with coffee, add milk, and then the flavored syrups. A basic vanilla latte can easily have 35 grams of sugar.
Same as a can of cola.
Same as a can of cola, but with zero feeling of fullness.
And the blended drinks, the Frappuccino effect, they're just milkshakes, aren't they?
They're milkshakes by another name, delivering hundreds of calories instantly. The numbers are just alarming. A large white chocolate mocha with whipped cream can hit 74 grams of sugar and over 500 calories.
That's a meal.
It is. It's a dessert you drink on the go, often before lunch, that your brain doesn't even register as food. The analysis found one extreme example, a large frozen chai latte that had 129 grams of sugar and 690 calories
That's 32 sugar cubes.
in a single drink. It's a sugar density disguise. And even when people try to make healthier choices, like vitamin water or kombucha, they can still get hit.
Right, vitamin water sounds healthy.
But a typical bottle has 27 to 32 grams of crystalline fructose. And a lot of commercial kombuchas, which are great for probiotics, still have up to 16 grams of added sugar. You have to be a skeptical consumer.
Okay, we have to turn to the elephant in the room, alcohol. The analysis calls it the metabolic pause button.
Because that's exactly what it does. Your body sees ethanol as a toxin. It has to be removed immediately. So when you drink alcohol, your liver enters this state of metabolic triage. It stops everything else,
Including burning fat.
including burning fat. It focuses solely on detoxifying that alcohol.
So if I'm having a beer and some wings, the fat burning stops. What happens to the calories from the wings?
That leads to what's called fat sparing. Since your body is busy burning off the byproduct of the alcohol, any other fuel you eat at the same time, the fat and carbs from the wings, is much more likely to be shunted directly into storage. Your fat-burning engine is paused, and you've primed your system to store fat.
Let's break it down. Beer, liquid bread is an obvious one, but the range is huge.
It is. A standard point of lager is about 200 calories, similar to a slice of pepperoni pizza. But these craft double IPAs can easily exceed 350 calories a pint.
That's a cheeseburger.
That is the caloric equivalent of a standard cheeseburger. So if you have 3 of those before dinner, you've just consumed almost 1,000 calories without feeling full at all.
And with spirits, it's all about the mixer trap, right?
Exactly. Gin, vodka, whiskey, the pure spirits are fine. The danger is what we mix them with. People think a gin and tonic is a light choice, but standard tonic water has almost as much sugar as lemonade.
Really?
Yeah, about 18 grams. So a single G&T is about 170 calories. Just swapping to a slimline or diet tonic wipes out that sugar load instantly.
And cocktails are the real heavyweights.
They are calorie bombs. They use high fructose sour mixes, creamy liqueurs. A frozen margarita can hit 450 calories and over 50 grams of sugar.
Which is like?
It's the equivalent of 2 slices of cheese pizza. And the extreme example, a Long Island iced tea, can top 700 calories. That's nutritionally the same as a Big Mac and a small fries.
That brings us perfectly to the most important part, I think. Making the invisible visible. For you, the learner, we have to stop thinking in milliliters and start thinking in food equivalents.
This is the tool that drives the point home. Liquid calories are just profoundly inefficient. They deliver massive energy with zero signal of fullness.
So let's use those equivalents from the sun-dried table to really hammer this home.
Okay, take that craft IPA pint, 320 calories. That's 1 standard cheeseburger. The frozen margarita at 450 calories. That's 2 entire slices of cheese pizza.
And the coffee shop dessert, the venti white mocha, 500 calories, 74 grams of sugar.
That is the caloric equivalent of eating 2 chocolate croissants.
And think about the psychology of that. It's really hard to eat 3 cheeseburgers on top of your dinner. You'd feel incredibly sick.
You'd feel awful.
Yeah.
But it is incredibly easy to drink 3 of those craft IPAs, the 1,000-calorie equivalent, without even a second thought.
That's it. That's the whole mechanism of passive, massive caloric surplus. The brain's accounting fails, you don't adjust, and you end up with a surplus big enough to cause serious weight gain without ever feeling like you overate.
You're trading zero satiety for maximum calorie density. It's a terrible deal.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, cutting liquid sugar isn't about some painful, restrictive diet. It's about being strategic. It's about using this biological understanding to perform at your best.
The whole strategy outlined in the research is just about smart swaps. The first rule is a water-first policy. Then you just look for where you're adding sugar without fiber and make simple changes. Swap the vanilla latte for a flat white.
Swap the full sugar cola for a zero sugar version.
Exactly. These small swaps take almost no willpower, but they deliver these huge results because you're fixing the single biggest failure point in your metabolic system.
So to give you our final actionable takeaway, here are the top 3 strategic changes from this deep dive.
1. Prioritize whole fruit. Eat the orange, don't drink the juice. That fiber protects your liver and gives you the satiety signals you actually need.
2. Master the coffee order. Avoid the blended, syrupy drinks. Stick to the simple zero-sugar basics like Americanos, espresso, or flat whites with no added flavoring.
And 3. Watch the mixers. When you're having spirits, switch immediately to sugar-free options like slimline tonic, club soda, or fresh lime juice. It makes the drink metabolically so much safer.
And now for the final provocative thought for you to take away from this. The analysis we reviewed noted that in developed nations, something like 92% of the population exceeds the recommended daily limit for free sugar, and sugary drinks are the #1 driver of that. So, based on everything we've just discussed about metabolic invisibility, ask yourself this. What percentage of your current daily caloric intake comes from sources that your brain doesn't even know you consumed? That number, whatever it is the biggest lever you have for achieving peak performance.